regular technically, although it's not going to be as regular because we're going to spend less time on it than we did for the thing we were just going to open on. Dylan, let's jump into science articles for the week. Are you ready, Dylan?
I am.
All right, cool. I'm not because I totally closed the fucking articles that I had open. So I didn't do. Dylan.
What?
It's so funny that we were just talking about this. They literally just found, they literally just announced that New World Cinemas is going to be releasing, or maybe this is it looks like they're releasing Godzilla Resurgence in the US in 2017. Oh, on DVD, no theatrical release.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll just look at this article quick.
A theatrical release
Yeah.
wouldn't have probably done well anye.
I disagree, but I get why they didn't do it.
I think we would have had a similar problem that Godzilla 2000 had, where we just had an American Godzilla movie, and American audiences would go in thinking, "Oh, is this a sequel to the last one?" and then be like, "Who the fuck is this?" So I don't know. I wasn't expecting a theater release in America. If there had been one, I actually would have been quite surprised.
Interesting, because I was definitely expecting one. I was kind of like, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be very surprised. So I'm very surprised that it's not happening. So that sucks. It sucks that we have to wait until 2017 to get the DVD, but I'm sure we'll find a way to see it before that. Don't you worry, kids. We'll do a review, and it'll be fun. So let's take a look at some science, shall we, Dylan? So, Dylan, I'm actually going to start off with a news story that relates directly back to the field of science, and also the field of science that we were just discussing with Godzilla Resurgence. Dylan, you want to talk about some radioactive boar thriving at the Fukushima power plant?
Sure.
Radioactive
Just what
boar
I always wanted to talk about.
Radioactive boar are, well, you're in luck. Radioactive boar are thriving and causing havoc near the Fukushima power plant. It's been over 5 years since tsunami waves crashed into the Fukushima district, Daiichi power plant. And excuse me, I suck with Japanese words, which is hilarious given a lot of movies that I've spent a lot of time talking about, and led to its nuclear meltdown. While 20 kilometers, 12 miles, on the land around the plant remains a dangerous exclusion zone, the area's wildlife is taking full advantage of the peace. Now, different animals have different... Survive?
Is anyone surprised, though, that
No.
that there are still radioactive animals around here? I mean, for crying out loud, how long has it been since Chernobyl and there are, like, radioactive reindeer running around in Norway or something? Like, it's insane.
And there's still, like, monstrous fish living in the lakes in Chernobyl. You ever seen fucking Jeremy Wade on River Monsters go into the rivers of around Chernobyl and he catches, like, these fucked up mutated fish? It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's like watching a monster movie. It's like watching The Host or some shit.
It's like live action.
This is kind of like that.
It's like live action The Simpsons. With the three-eyed fish.
It is very much so like that. And this is also like that as well. Since the nuclear disaster, the population of wild boars has rocketed. And that's the other thing. Different animals have different responses to radiation. Boar and fucking wild pigs can survive whatever. Like, you could fucking launch a fucking bazooka at one and it'll probably fucking find a way to get out of it because they're they're apparently like the worst animals ever. Like, they're just a nuisance and incredibly hard to kill, just like hunting-wise. So this doesn't surprise me that they're able to survive radiation.
I say we make bacon of all of them.
And let's find out if there's any effects on them. Much to the dismay of surrounding... Okay, since the nuclear disaster, the population of wild boars has rocketed. Much to the dismay of surrounding communities, the Times has reported in the 4 years following the disaster, the population of boars is thought to have boomed from 3,000 to 13,000, which is fucking crazy, in 5 years. You might think this ancient Japanese symbol of prosperity and fertility might be welcomed. A radioactive boar, so fertile and so prosperous as that is, but it's estimated they have caused $15 million worth of damage to local agriculture. That is not prosperous or fertile. That is the exact opposite of both of those things.
I say we take off, nuke the site from orbit.
It's the only way to be sure. But they would survive that and be even worse now. Like Dylan, oh yeah, let's drop a nuke on Japan. That will solve our problems.
Did once before.
Dylan.
Oh yeah, twice before.
Technically,
well,
yeah.
Well, technically though, okay, 2 bombs for one big problem, basically, technically.
Yeah, I suppose. Man, this is fucked up since we're talking about a disaster that happened recently where people, like, really, really got fucked up.
Oh, they got fucked up then, too, believe me.
We're not making light of the people who died or suffered. We're making light of the shit around it, the abstract events, not specific people.
I'm not making light of the people who died 5 years ago because that's too soon. I'm making light of the people who died in 1945, which is
no, that's fine.
Which is totally off the table.
That's totally fine. I don't think anybody will give you crap for that. Assistant ecology professor Akuda.
You can make 9/11 jokes now, so that shit's definitely like.
Oh yeah, definitely. If we can make 9/11 jokes, I'm making a fuking Nagasaki joke like every day for the rest of my life. Every morning I'm gonna wake up.
This is mission in life.
I have to put that shit on my to-do list every day. I have to make a joke about Nagasaki. It's not as cool as Hiroshima. People bring it up less. Think about it. Whenever you hear about nuclear bombing, it's like, oh, Hiroshima. It's like, what about Nagasaki, bro? They got bombed too, you fuckholes.
Nobody cares because it was second, and like they don't remember that one.
It was a slightly less memorable name.
Hiroshima just like rolls off the tongue. Nagasaki's like, oh, the fuck is that,
Yeah, because it's also like there's debate because it's either Hiroshima or Hiroshima.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like there's debate about how to pronounce it, so that creates like an element of remembrance in people's minds. So it's crazy.
I wonder what the actual way you're supposed to pronounce it is. We should ask on.
It's Hiroshima. Hiroshima is the correct way.
Is it?
Hiroshima is an American bullshit thing, I think. I think it's Hiroshima. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Like it sounds kind of like both.
I'm pretty sure it's Hiroshima.
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 Assistant ecology professor, back to the radioactive pigs, Akuda Kitokunin, told the Japanese Mainichi...
That's not a nice thing to say about police officers who survived Nagasaki.
No, certainly not. Mainichi newspaper that wild boar, along with raccoons, have been using the abandoned houses and emptied buildings in the evacuation zone as a place to breed and shelter.
Wait, go back. There are radioactive raccoons, too?
Yeah, apparently. Apparently rockets out there, motherfuckers. Like, he's not radioactive. Assistant ecology professor Akuda Keenan told the Japanese Mainichi newspaper that wild boar, along with raccoons, have been using the abandoned houses and empty buildings in the evacuation zone as a place to breed. Now, they don't specify that the raccoons are radioactive, but they'd obviously have to be if they're in the evacuation zone. So,
yeah,
I don't know what the deal with that is, but that's fucked. However, the post-nuclear meltdown isn't exactly a safe haven for the boars. Really? Is it because there was a nuclear meltdown there? Let's find out. It's thought their diet of roots, nuts, berries, and water all contain particularly high concentrations of radiation. Well, fucking...
I mean, it was a meltdown, correct?
It was an atomic meltdown, Dylan. It was like Chernobyl, but worse because it was caused by an earthquake.
The thing about a meltdown is, see, an explosion, it blows up and the radioactive material goes all over the place.
It's done, yeah.
And it's bad, but it's not. You'll get over it. A meltdown,
yeah.
A meltdown.
Because that energy gets expended. A lot of that energy gets expended. This is shit sitting there for years going unused, just
literally
killing
melts.
shit.
It literally melts down and like it seeps into the ground and like goes out and like it's not good.
No, there's no expulsion of that energy. It's all just sitting there killing everything. And that's what, shockingly, apparently isn't going so well for the boars. The animals show no immediate signs of harm from the radiation. However, samples from Fukushima's wild boar meat has shown they contain 300 times the safe amount of the radioactive element Caesium-137. Another study on...
I think somebody killed a boar just to see if the meat was still good,
Oh, wouldn't you... Dylan, that's you in a fucking nutshell. That's your entire goddamn personality.
Like, let me...
He's killing radioactive boars to see if they're still edible.
Let's find out if we can still eat this.
And not grow 3 testicles or lose the ones I already have.
Oh, damn. That we can't eat it. Nah, I'm going to eat it anyway.
Of course. Well, I mean, if you're hungry, you got to do what you got to do. where was I? The animal should not mean to sound harm. Another study on the area's fir trees, and that's FIR. I don't know how that's actually pronounced.
Yeah,
show evidence.
It's fir tree. Yeah.
Show evidence of growth mutations, which that's always the shit that's fucking really crazy. Hunters have been offered rewards to cull the bull. I'm assuming that means kill. Cull. What's cull mean?
It's like reduce the.
Oh, that's a word though.
Yeah, it's like it's what we do with hunting seasons. You're reducing the population.
Oh, okay, that's what this is then. To cull the boars by local authorities. See, I didn't know that was an actual word, so I thought that was a typo of the word kill. However, the animals are breeding so quickly they can't keep up. The city of Nihonmatsu, around 56 kilometers, 35 miles from the Fukushima plant, has dug 3 mass graves capable of holding 1,800 dead boars. They're planning ahead, motherfuckers.
They're planning a radioactive boar holocaust. It's great.
Yeah, they are. What's it called when in Hawaii? A luau. They're planning a radioactive luau. Recently, these have become overfilled, and authorities are now struggling to cope with the influx of culled beasts. That's horrible. I mean, it makes sense. I get it. The boom in boars is a similar story to Chernobyl's post-meltdown wildlife. A study from, as we said, a study from late last year showed that the populations of deer and wild boar are thriving in the area surrounding the Ukrainian power plant. In a statement, Jim Smith, which is the most generic name ever, one of the authors of the Chernobyl study, explained it's very likely the wildlife numbers at Chernobyl are much higher than they were before the accident. This doesn't mean radiation is good for wildlife, just that the effects of human habitation, including hunting, farming, and forestry, are a lot worse. I mean, radiation is also an after effect of human involvement, but I guess the idea of this article is kind of like the animals are more excited by the lack of people than they would be deterred by the radiation. So that's crazy.
Well,
I guess it's also a question of whether or not they know.
Yeah, they don't even know that radiation is a thing. I mean, we're animals. Right? We're animals. Look how long it took us to figure it out.
When did we find out radiation was a thing?
It's a good question.
When did we discover the X-ray?
Hold on.
I feel like I should know this. I feel like an idiot right now.
We discover...
That's it for the article, though.
Yes, Google, that is what I meant.
Thank you, Dylan, for your clarification, you sassy horse.
The discovery of radioactivity in 1896.
Oh, okay, so that's actually further back than I thought. Cool.
We've only known about this shit for like a little over 100 years.
Word. So
I don't think the other animals...
Idea being that the animals probably don't know.
I don't think the other animals who have no concept of science are...
Or no concept of self.
Or atoms, which is a major thing in radiation. I don't think they know...
I don't really think they understand much of anything, my broski.
I
think they're...
I'm not saying deer are dumb. I'm just saying that maybe nuclear physics is a little above their pay grade there.
Their pay grade. Their evolutionary pay grade.
Yeah, you know.
All right, cool. So, Dylan, atomic boar, what's your thought?
I say we get a bunch of people, put them in hazmat suits, give them some guns, send them in there.
It sounds like that's what they've done.
Good.
Would you try radioactive boar? What if they told you like there's a chance that you might get like boar powers if you eat this boar? Because there's all those like Viking legends like if you eat an animal you gain its power or whatever. Like that's an actual thing now. If you eat something radioactive, you'll gain its power.
I would become Boar Man.
Boar Man. What would be your power? Just tusks?
To do whatever a boar does.
What? To raid nuclear power plants?
Can I swing from a web? No, I can't because I'm a boar man.
Yeah, true. Boar man. But people just think your whole thing is making people bored.
No, I would imagine it would involve an increase in muscle mass, the growth of tusks, and just the ability to charge people from great distances.
You'd look like who? Bebop is the boar, right? The warthog.
I think so.
And then Rocksteady is the rhino.
I think that's how it works.
Oh, that's how it works. That's the science behind the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Still, it's good to see the Japanese taking some time away from killing dolphins and whales to actually kill some animals that need killing.
To kill some actual nuisances, yeah, some mammals that actually deserve to be fucking put down like the filthy pieces of shit that they are. Anyway.
Although to be fair, I've never eaten a dolphin or a whale. They might be delicious. I don't know.
But speaking of delicious pieces of shit, Dylan, let's talk about Naruto. No, it's just, we are going to talk about Naruto, but I've never watched Naruto, so I don't know if it's actually delicious. It's a delicious piece of shit. So Dylan, scientists
I haven't seen any Naruto in years. I used to.
I have never watched it in my life.
God, when it
I was told recently that I should.
When it first started out, but eventually it just became too much.
I feel that. Dylan, scientists have found that running like Naruto actually makes you faster, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, you want me to send you here just so you get a picture of what they're talking about when they say run like Naruto?
Is it the weird pose where like they're bent down and they have their arms out behind them?
Yeah, that's it. So I won't even send this to you then. That's exactly what this is. In an incredibly disheartening study released today, these fuckers know what this is on.
Yeah, the guy who draws that comic. What's his name? I think it's like, is it Kishimoto? Yeah, it's Masashi Kishimoto. Yeah, he always draws his characters like, I guess it's a ninja thing. They run and like that. It's weird. It's just weird. I don't know.
Well, let's find out. In an incredibly disheartening study released today, researchers at the University of Michigan found that extending one's arms backwards while running actually increase the speed at which you run. All right, that's a fucking typo. This is on.
Why are researchers in Michigan engaging in Naruto science? Like, what?
I don't know. This could be fake now that I'm looking at it, because this is on Anime Maru, but whatever. I'm gonna read it anyway because it's amusing. I thought this was on Yahoo, but I don't know why I thought that, but I did think that. I actually do have one more video to send you after this, but that'll be quick. And then increase the speed at which you run. The researchers' findings are causing a huge stir among both anime fans and professional athletes alike. Reports have been coming in that 3 NFL teams, 2 MLB teams, and 1,400 weebs have already been implementing this technique into their training programs. I fucking bet they have. Some, however, still have their reservations about this new style. We've gathered a small sample of reactions to this stunning revelation. Dylan, you ready for the...
I'd rather run like Goku, where I just move my legs so fast they become a motion blur.
Yeah, but that's the same thing, though. You have to hold your arms back. He runs like that.
Does he? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a Japanese thing that I wasn't aware of.
I think, well, it's apparently like a legit ninja thing.
Okay.
Will I use this style of running? Well, Dylan, these are some reactions from the general population.
I don't use any style of running myself.
No, I don't do it often enough to have a style or to care enough to develop one. Will I use this style of running? Well, you know how these things are. There might be a counter study done. I hope there will be. Fuck, I'll fund it myself. Yeah, will this help me win? Sure, but will I do it? Well, I mean, have you seen how it looks? I want to take gold, but I don't want people thinking I'm a fucking filthy weeb virgin. An Olympic athlete? That's a quote from him. Yeah, no, this is disgusting. I want to win, but not at the sake of my dignity. A professional marathon runner. Dude, fuck yeah, I always knew it. Now maybe the kids at school won't beat me up anymore. Well, maybe. A filthy weeb.
Oh.
The researchers ended their announcement stating they have another study almost finished that seems to prove that grunting and yelling Japanese phrases directly increases one's running speed and agility. I'm starting to think this is bullshit.
Next, we're going to find out that capturing animals and forcing them to fight other animals really does foster a bond of friendship that will last you your entire life.
Makes sense. But with the incredibly specific and heralded quotes from such people as an Olympic athlete and a filthy weeb, I'm assuming that this is probably not the most reliable thing in the world, but I thought that was interesting and noteworthy.
I love how anti-weeb this article is. Like,
I think it's sarcastic. I think it's being sarcastic on purpose.
Like aggressively anti-weeb.
It's incredibly aggressive. Like I certainly agree with that. But I think it's doing it sarcastically. So Dylan, I have one more thing that we can talk about, and then we'll end. I'm gonna pause it. I don't have a ton. There are articles on this, but I'm way too tired to find them right now. So I'm just gonna send you the video on this, and we can just talk about what's in the video. This was everywhere, though. This is the thing that was on Yahoo, I think. About this this 500-year-old girl who was found perfectly preserved in a volcano. She was frozen. I think it was in Argentina. I think I said that. And and they found her perfectly preserved, and they did experiments on her, and like they took blood out, and they found extinct bacteria that may be like incredibly important to medical science in terms of curing ailments and potentially planning for future diseases before they happen, because they can study why bacteria go extinct and what goes into the evolutionary process, because they have one that doesn't exist anymore. But Dylan, did you get that video?
Yeah, I've got the link. Hold on.
Seek. You don't even have to listen to the audio. Just mute it and look at the text on the screen. And you can see she looks pretty incredible. Like it's like when they say perfectly preserved, like she doesn't look like fucking perfect, but she looks really incredible for 500 years.
I like the title of this video. She's found after 500 years, but what's inside her is even crazier.
I also love how they misspelled years. It's years.
That's true, years.
What the fuck? How come everything I fucking find like makes me think it's bullshit? This is not though, because I saw this on everywhere when this hit. This was put up on. This came out on February 5th, so this has been around for a while. We missed this because we've been doing entertainment-based topics for the past month and a half, so that's why we haven't been talking about this.
She looks like one of the Skull Islanders. One of the Peter Jackson Skull Islanders.
That's what I thought as well. And interesting that you bring King Kong up, because
it's been
all but confirmed that she was killed in a human sacrifice.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, cool, right? So there's a rumor. There's a rumor, as if this is like a movie. I'm an idiot. But there's whispers that that may be why she's so perfectly preserved, because of the way in which she was sacrificed. But there's no way to be sure on that, of course, because they don't know how she was sacrificed. What do you make of that, Dylan?
Where did you say they found her?
Argentina, in a volcano, frozen in an inactive volcano.
How is she frozen in a volcano? But okay, it's inactive.
Inactive volcano. They're very cold.
That just seemed like a contradiction in terms. She was frozen in a volcano.
No, Dylan. It's like my love life. It's just there. It's inactive.
I see.
Yeah.
Dormant, as they say.
Certainly. Extinct, some others might say.
Frozen. What were you saying about the? Did you ask me a question?
I asked you what'd you make of it, because the whole point of this is that they found her, and what they found inside of her that was so crazy was, again, they found extinct bacteria.
Scientists
that might
discover 500-year-old dildo
inside of her. Oh God, that'd be horrible. But, that's how she was sacrificed. She was sacrificed for the good of sex toys everywhere. But she was the guinea pig.
How do you know they're non-lethal until you try one out?
That's what I'm saying. But they found extinct bacteria in her that might be the key to learning about past diseases. And
that's when the ancients said, maybe we should fashion these sex toys after humans instead of horses.
Maybe we shouldn't make them out of. Maybe we should. Maybe too big is too big.
Okay. I know we already knocked it down from elephant, but we're going to go down from horse as well. Okay, we're going to do human.
Guys, horses, it's too much. We should probably just keep it without our own dicks. We should probably just make this realistic for the ladies.
If that's too much, we'll go to gorillas, all right?
If that's too much. But Dylan, what do you make of ancient bacteria that may save people's lives in the future?
Cool.
In a corpse.
Maybe it'll be anti-nuclear energy bacteria. No.
We can stop those fucking boars, dude.
Yeah, man. This may be the solution to our woes.
This 500-year-old Argentinian woman is going to be the solution to our modern-day boar problems.
I mean, we have the ancient bacteria. All we would have to do is clone them, and then...
we could create an army of 500-year-old girls to attack the boars.
Carrying...
All right. So, Dylan, wait. Who do you think would win in a fight? Like a whole bunch of my 500-year-old girls without guns or the boars? Probably the boars, right?
The boars, probably, but I mean, it wouldn't matter.
How many boars and how many women, I suppose, is the question.
It doesn't really matter, because the whole point of the girls would just be, really, you would be sacrificing them, because the whole point would be to get the boars exposed to the bacteria.
But they're clones. It doesn't matter, and they're not white. No.
They're not people.
They're not people, Dylan. No.
They're 500 years old. They're savages.
Certainly that. The 500 years old part, certainly. But human sacrifice, I think savage is not necessarily a wrong way to say it, but certainly a certain simplification. They're not as bad as they're about just as bad as the Cathoga from Relic as we discussed last week. Maybe this bacteria will help us discover the way to kill off Imboon.
Maybe this bacteria will be the first step to creating genetically engineered museum monsters that we can then use against the boar.
So instead of curing Imboon, we can create Imboon and send him after boars.
After the boars, and then there'll be a swarm of Imboons in Japan. And that won't be any better.
This is like every single ecological crisis ever, where it's like you introduce too much of one animal and then you introduce too much of another animal. It just keeps getting worse and worse. You just make a new horrible food chain.
Before we do this, we'll call Andres and be like, hey, Japan, you might want to get out of there.
Yeah, shit's about to get fucked up. We're about to drop genetically engineered Imboons. No, we're going to take the 500-year-old girls, we're going to inject them with the Imboon virus, and then send them after the boars. And then we're going to tell Andres. But we're going to tell Andres after we've done it, just to make it a little more interesting.
You don't have long to get out of there, man.
Listen, we're not going to lie. We made this kind of fucked for you, but it's going to be a great story if you survive, trust me.
Have you ever seen The Relic?
Yeah. So did you watch the last episode of CFOS?
Also, we should probably mention that we've...
Oh, no? Good. Okay, so this will be a surprise then.
We should also mention that we've crippled all your local airports.
We've also locked all your doors and made it impossible for you to leave your house, which might actually be better for you in the long run. You might actually survive.
Also,
but who knows? Who knows?
You're going to find a crate in your house.
It's filled with listen, don't rub those on yourself. I don't know why you would, but just don't. If you're tempted, don't do it, and then go outside, certainly, because you're going to attract some unwanted attention.
It's full of plant fibers. No, not weed. It's just
yeah, what do you think, I liked you or something? I wouldn't send you that. But all right, Dylan, so we've discussed many things tonight. Godzillas have resurged and boars have been radioactive, and bacteria has been 500-year-old, and other sentences that don't make sense.
That's not a verb.
But I'm using it like a verb. I'm using words that aren't verbs like verbs because it's funny, Dylan. Laugh, Dylan. Laugh.
Never.
You don't have to laugh.
Filthy weebs are running with their arms behind their backs into combat over whether or not they like Godzilla designs. Meanwhile, the radioactive boar of Japan scheme for how they will take over first Japan and then the world.
And then we plan our fucking Imboon airdrop of 500-year-old female Imboons.
Yes.
It'll be great. It's gonna be huge, as Donald Trump would say.
We'll get Mr. Freeze. We'll have to get Mr. Freeze to stop the boar. He's the only one who can do it because what killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age. He can, and we already have extinct bacteria going on, so it all works, kids. It's all connected. It's all an interconnected universe of thoughts and ideas. It's positive energy and vibes.
A lot of discoveries recently involving frozen things from the past.
Yeah, there was that pregnant T-Rex fossil that wasn't frozen, but it was a pregnant T-Rex that was found that might be instrumental in getting dinosaur DNA one day, maybe. So that's cool.
There's of course the Mammoth Project, which is ongoing.
The Mammoth Project. Oh, the cave lions that we talked about.
Yeah, the cave lions.
There's a whole bunch of shit, bro. There was a Neanderthal found recently, too. Whole bunch of shit just being found in ice that could be unearthed to be the foundation of a kick-ass monster movie. A real-life monster movie. It'll be great. People are going to die. It's going to be awesome.
And now a kind of sort of human who was found frozen in a volcano.
With some bacteria in it that may be interesting. We'll see. I love how it's like, this girl died, and we're like, whatever.
It was 500.
500 years being frozen? Pfft, pussy. Talk to me after you get a couple million under your belt.
It was 500 years ago on another continent.
As opposed to, it was millions of years ago on an Earth that looked nothing like the one I live on now. That's way more interesting to me somehow. I guess it would be. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dylan, is there any other grievances that you need to air on this week's episode of the Demons from Outer Space?
Why make another Jungle Book movie? Do we need that?
Because they got Christopher Walken to play King Louie, and that's all the reason you need to do anything. So, if that's not good enough for you, Dylan, fuck you. Go play with the radioactive boar.
I joke. The trailer for that movie doesn't look half bad, actually.
Apparently it's fine. Apparently it's pretty good.
Probably see it eventually. Renette, whatever. No, I don't have any grievances.
All right. I don't necessarily have anything to announce at the moment aside from look out for SOS and a solo video from me coming in the next few days talking about the Godzilla Resurgence trailer. Some more to come on that. More details will arise and more thoughts will be had and will be shared. So we hope you look forward to that and many more things. As always, you can like the Sons of Sarazawa network homepage on Facebook for all things SOS related and all things related to any of us in general that we may or may not want to share on that page. So get ready, kids. It's an onslaught sometimes. Sometimes it's dead. Sometimes it's an onslaught. It depends on the week. This week it was a bit of an onslaught because Andres and I both put up a lot of shit at the same time. But like that page for all that stuff, you can join Toku Legion as well for lots of hate-filled debate about Godzilla Resurgence if that's what you're into. If you're one of those filthy weebs, so you can go ahead and do that. Or
you should just create a second Facebook group called Filthy Weebs.
I'm very tempted. Or you filthy weebs can follow me on Facebook or Twitter at Billy Worster on Facebook and Bill_Worster on Twitter. So you can go ahead and do that if you would like to, and if you don't like to,
don't, man.
Yeah, that's fine. Just go eat a radioactive boar and potentially get boar powers and see what happens to your intestines afterwards. Until next time, everyone, we hope you've enjoyed. I'm Bill Worster, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
I'm Super DM64.
And stop being a filthy fucking weeb and run like a normal human being. Good night, kids. Dem Germans, they be fucked up. Have a radioactive day.
What?